Hey guys, I wanted to share a quick word of encouragement for anybody who's waiting on a promise from God. Do yourself a favor and surround yourself with people who have faith. I mean, people who believe that nothing is impossible for God. I wouldn't take the counsel of people who have never possessed a promise by God, or people who don't actually think that nothing shall be impossible for God, or people who think that God doesn't make promises. I'm not saying cut them out of your life. I'm just saying I would be careful about taking their counsel or their wisdom or their advice on a promise that God has made you. I really think there's a reason why Mary, the mother of Jesus, when the angel Gabriel visited her and told her the most astounding word ever, right, that she's going to carry the Messiah, I really believe there's a reason why she went to Elizabeth's house. I wonder, why didn't she go to her parents' house? Why didn't she go to I have no idea if she had siblings. Why did she go to Elizabeth's house? I really believe it's because Elizabeth was carrying an impossible promise for God. Just a few months before, the angel Gabriel also visited Zacharias and told him that the impossible was going to happen with him and Elizabeth. They were going to have a child when she had been barren for her whole life, when they were childless. So Elizabeth knew nothing is impossible for God. So I believe that's why Mary went and she stayed with Elizabeth for months. She surrounded herself in an atmosphere of faith. There was such an atmosphere of faith that John the Baptist in Elizabeth's womb, his spirit reacted to Mary when, of course, he couldn't see her. He was still in Elizabeth's womb. But he was kicking. And the atmosphere of the supernatural, of the impossible, of faith was so pregnant, pun not intended, in the air that John the Baptist in the womb could sense that Mary was carrying the Messiah. So I really believe that's why she went to Elizabeth's house. She surrounded herself in that atmosphere of faith because she was carrying this impossible promise from God. This impossible promise that God had entrusted her with, had given for her to steward. And that's one way to look at it, is that when God makes a promise to you, it's not just for our sake, but he's entrusting us with something. He's entrusting us with this promise to steward. We need to steward it. We need to steward it. So for anybody who's listening, who's carrying a promise from God, surround yourself in an atmosphere, in an environment of faith, with people of faith, with people who actually believe, who genuinely, with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength, believe that nothing shall be impossible with God. It'll make all the difference, I guarantee you. Because when you're carrying something that is so impossible from God, you're going to need that faith. You're going to need people to lend you their faith. You're going to need that atmosphere of faith to bolster up, to lend strength to your faith as well. And I pray for every person listening to this, that God would give you the strength, the courage, the wisdom, and the grace, and the stamina, and the grit, and the perseverance, and the endurance, and the faith to carry to full term, to carry all the way through what God has promised you. Because he who promised is faithful. Amen.